Hello everyone, and welcome to Scanner Sombre, an exploration horror game in which we are robbed of our sight, cast into the darkness, and forced to navigate using the only tool at our disposal, a LIDAR scanner. And so what almost looks like colorful stars in the night sky becomes our new reality. I am so interested to see what this game is going to be like. It's actually made by the creators of Prison Architect and DEF CON Introversion Software. And if it's anything like the LiDAR mod for Gary's mod that I played a couple months back, there is extreme opportunity for horror here. I have no idea what's going to be in these caves. At least I assume they're caves. We're kind of left to interpret with these visuals. And if it's anything like that, we're actually not going to be able to perceive changes in real time. It's not just a different means of sight, it's a different sense altogether, in which we can only perceive changes when we attempt to scan them. Meaning if someone's entered the area between one scan and the next, we'll never know it. This music is quite eerie and it's setting me on edge already. Let's start the game. Oh. We do actually get to start with regular sight. Providing a contrast, I suppose, for when we inevitably lose it. Can we crouch? No. But we can zoom in. Presumably that's a picture of our family. We have a wife, a son, a daughter. And out there in the darkness must be our scanner. At this moment, we're even more blind with our sight. Hold left mouse to fire scanner. Oh, it works just like the LiDAR mod. Look, we definitely are in a cave, because look, we can see these peaks here that become redder as we approach them. Okay, so color indicates distance, with blue being the farthest and red being the closest. But yeah, we can see these peaks. Those are stalagmites and stalactites. I honestly do not remember which is which. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. We can zoom in with right-click, as I said before. We do still maintain our sight on areas that have light. But down here, we know that there is no light. Can I really not take, like, a camping lantern with me or something? Then again, I suppose in a wide-open space like this is more what you want. The question is, what do we want? Is this some kind of research expedition? What are we doing down here exactly? Well, there's a bit of a narrow path behind the rock. We can go this way. And the longer we hold it down, the more dense that is. But I have to say, this isn't all that different from feeling around in the dark. It's really just feeling around with extra capability. Thank God for these colors, because otherwise it would be so difficult to get any sense of depth. Well, I guess I'm walking on water. Now, the mod for Gary's mod seemed to have its coloration based on the material that it was actually hitting. But there's very little sound, and due to the nature of this, here's another advantage over regular sight. We actually do have some sense of being able to see through walls in spaces we've already been. I'll be honest, though, I'm already a little bit lost. Oh, look at that. With the way it fades into the background, it almost looks like it's sitting in the middle of a forest clearing. But we're far more lost than that. I wonder if we'll gain any additional functionality as we go, although I'm not sure what additional functionality there would be to be gained. What happens if we really try and fill this in? That gives us definitely a much more complete picture. I hope it won't be like Gary's mod where it starts removing some if we take too long. It looks like we can actually get back here. Yes, I think this is going to be the way to go. Alright, now we're making progress. The cave is very, very narrow here. And the sounds of the wind are starting to increase. Nobody had been as deep as this for thousands of years. I was utterly alone. No call for help would ever reach the surface. My friends all told me I was crazy. My wife couldn't understand my obsession. Oh, it opens up into a larger chamber, but I had to know if the myths were true. What myths? Wow. It really is like having those glow-in-the-dark stars on your ceiling as a kid. It's actually quite pretty. But in the back of my mind, I just can't stop thinking, if something were to be there, something alive, say, I might see it in the moment, but it's not like this environment is updating in real time. I would have to actively scan something to be able to see it moving. Otherwise, it would appear as nothing more than, well, essentially a shadow. It's strange how this is in some ways a superpower and in others a handicap, and being able to be both at once is a fascinating concept. Okay, we can jump. Now I wonder whether we'll have incentive to actually fully map a place out, or if it'll be better to be more careful and just keep moving forward. Also, I've been doing it with the habit formed from Gary's mod, where I'm kind of only doing a little bit at a time, but it's starting to seem like it really does benefit me more to keep holding it down. I don't know at what point it will start removing previous ones, if at all. Okay, so much for no one being down here for thousands of years. You're scanning out the space for me. Let's try and paint a more complete picture. Oh, this is some kind of structure. A bridge moving over the top, not just a natural formation. Sorry, Cortana, I'm stealing your line. What is this? Another scanner. Aperture control. Use the mouse wheel or Q and E to change aperture. Oh, so we can narrow our focus or increase it. Could this place have been even older than the legend suggested? See, the resolution was astonishing. Never before had such a powerful geological scanner been available. There is another chamber back there, but it's too narrow to go through. This doesn't look natural. This looks like maybe some kind of pillar that's toppled over. Let's cast as wide of a beam as possible for now. Yeah, these are stairs. Well, the penitent man will pass. there's gaps. This is getting a little dangerous. Archways. Literal blind platforming. Ugh. I can hear the dust falling off of it. But it seems to be maintaining its shape, not wobbling at all, but certainly creaking. But where could it lead? And if this really is thousands of years old, who could have lived down here and why? Okay, well, I guess we should start getting our predictions out of the way early. But instead of a prediction, I'm just gonna steal from the Descent. Cool? So there is a civilization living in this area. We don't know where this takes place yet, but I believe the developers are British. And they may have lived down here so long, they evolved at a fork separate from what became modern humans. What is that sound? What are you? I'm actively scanning, so you're not moving. Are you a statue? I feel like I should be getting some kind of a reaction from my character for this. You're standing up straight like a statue. Or perhaps just a calcified person. Wait. Wait, hang on. You weren't facing this way a second ago. You're turning. What is the deal with you? No reaction, character? No reaction from me? Oh wait, you're standing at the center of some kind of shrine? Oh, this is so cool. This is satisfying the explorer part of my brain, the horror part of my brain, and the archaeologist part of my brain that wants to learn more. What is all this? Well, we'll have to move forward to learn more, I guess. Since my character apparently isn't interested in explaining anything or asking the questions that I'm asking in my head right now. But one of my favorite things a game can do is raise questions for me to speculate on. That's what makes exploring so exciting. And sometimes so scary. There were two branching paths we could have taken. But we're moving further into the depths. I don't know if we can return. You stay right there, okay, buddy? It hasn't instructed me to press E on anything yet. Well, Q and E are the things that increase the aperture, so there really is no reason for me to try and press U's on something. These are stairs. This seems almost like it's part cave and part temple. The ceiling is impossibly high here. Plus, press right mouse button or Z to zoom. Well, I'll tell you what, it looks like there's some kind of bridge across the gap there. I was struggling with this early on, but it's actually becoming almost second nature far more quickly than I would have expected. There's a bridge going down that way, but it's in very poor shape. I don't like this at all. Down there is very, very deep. I wonder how this would interact with water, if at all. We're not going to make that jump. But perhaps if we climb down onto there, we can make it some distance. This was not wise. This was not wise in the least. We can't sprint, so we won't have to run and jump. Oh, it's like a canvas being painted before our eyes. More pillars on the edge of the stairs here. At least, I think they're pillars. But it looks like there's been some kind of collapse. We can't go this way. Now, the scrape of my own footstep just scared me. I am so digging this. I am so digging this. I mean, rip my hard drive. This is such a complicated image. Look at how beautiful that looks. It's a new way to see that is simultaneously horrifying and breathtaking. That must be what it's like to be an archaeologist, exploring caves like this. But I don't know if I can make that jump. Even knowing what's beneath me, it seems so likely that the thing would just collapse out from under me. Who would willingly drop their weight onto this? And the sound design seems to want to confirm my fears at every turn. It's actually almost harder to see when you're close to something. I could drop down onto the one beneath. It looks like that continues on for quite a ways. Ugh. No! No, 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 no! You guys are actively moving about, but no! Okay, death number 1. Where do we return to? Alright, not too far back. It made me feel like we were meant to run. I was trying to keep my scanner on it because I just don't... I wanted to make sure that it wasn't actively moving. But you're not. You're staying still. And we need to... We need to jump this gap. Wait, what did I fall off of? I thought I was moving to the right. But that was making noise, right? We haven't heard anything but ambiance yet. That thing is screaming. Or something is happening that could be interpreted as a scream. They never did iron out all the glitches. Sometimes you'd see sensor echoes from days earlier. Calibration turned to ghosts. But even so, I never could explain everything I saw. Why are you telling me this now and not the first time we encountered one of those figures? Well, it seems to be gone now. Okay, so there is precedent with my character for such issues. Sometimes it'll just present an image of something that it's already scanned. Wow, that's actually really interesting. It's almost as if our sight had the ability to render a double exposure. Imagine if that could happen. I actually don't like imagining that. Let's continue playing, shall we? Yeah, the mechanics definitely seem to encourage actively scanning as we progress, not just doing a little bit here and there. It's just a habit I formed from the dots despawning in Gary's mod. I'll have to unlearn it. This seems to be more of a regular cave system, but the path through is certainly deliberate. Carved out, perhaps? If it really is thousands of years old, then these stalagmites and stalactites could certainly have formed over human carvings afterwards, couldn't they? I mean, we know from earlier that water does get in here. I heard myself stepping into it a couple of times. Wait, there's more over there. Once again, so much for this place has been abandoned for thousands of years. Let's paint a more complete picture, shall we? So you want to narrow it for further away. Oh, this chasm is very, very deep. And it doesn't look like there's anywhere I can jump this gap yet. Nope. Nothing we can do about that. Oh, this is such a unique premise. Oh no. It really expects us to do this. See, we can see, but every once in a while I'll just be reminded of the fact that we really can't. And having it be this dense, this close, actually does make it a little bit more difficult. This is one of those hold down W and A simultaneously moments. Wait. Now is not the time for our visuals to be glitching out. See, it's not even like this has literally replaced our sight. We're wearing a headset. And is it doing this randomly? Or is it doing this when we scan a certain thing? It seems to be randomly. Then again. What's up there? That looked like someone falling into the crevice. Charlie, don't go in the crevice. Alright, there's more of a wide path here, but that could change at any time. We can't stop being careful. Oh, where do we jump from? Probably up here, right? Seems like our best bet. And there are only bad options. And we can kind of see our path in the density. Yeah. Just made it. That did not feel good at all. Alright, let's continue along this way. It narrows, but there's nothing above us, at least not for a long while. Now I wonder, does this game actually exist in a textured state? Like, if we were to disable this LIDAR mode with DevTools, would we actually be able to see what this really looks like? And I've just had another eerie thought. I can sort of see, but in reality, my character is moving through here in pitch blackness. Okay, I don't like that. It's like I'm moving through these artifacts, adding noise to the cliff wall, which makes it feel narrower than it really is. That's incredibly dangerous. Alright, let's narrow this, paint as little as possible so we can see only what's in front of us. There's that device. Burst scan. Press B to initiate a burst scan. Whoa. That was just a kaleidoscope of beauty. And it's giving us the most complete picture yet. What happens if we do this direction? Oh, if we look on the bottom left, it looks like there's actually a cooldown timer. Okay, so we can't do it constantly. We'll have to, for the most part, rely on our regular scanner. Let's try it on a narrower space. Yeah, that's much better. But no matter how good it is, it's only going to be able to show us as much as we can see from our current position. Line of sight based, after all. Huh. I'm worried I could potentially end up cluttering the environment too much, but then again, oh, look at that. It's only when we're far away that we gain a more complete picture of the cavern we were actually in. It's quite a drop, but one we can slide on. Don't land on the spikes. Oh, I know where we are. A Spike Lee joint. That was the worst joke I have ever attempted to tell. It's weird how we've got these caves that loop around each other, and yet we're seeing them simultaneously even though they don't necessarily actually connect. See, we're getting closer to familiar territory, making me think that we're entering familiar territory, even though that's not necessarily the case. I think we're actually in a chamber that's just parallel to where we were. But we may be entering it again. I do not like falling onto darkness, area I haven't scanned yet. That's truly blind. We're literally falling deep into the dark pit. Imagine someone being caught in here with a flashlight or without anything. They'd just hear my footsteps echoing throughout. What made that noise? Let's try the burst scan again. Oh, it's like a transition from an 80s music video. Now, my character talked about this being an obsession, having to know if the legends are true, but he hasn't gone into what those legends actually are yet. Great, you want me to jump that? From the look of it, you do. It is a real good thing that this video is going to be in 1440p. Maybe I'll even record subsequent parts in 4K. If it becomes indistinguishable, hard to see. I try to avoid recording in 4K for performance reasons, but this game should be light enough that it's possible. Then again, this image is so complicated, the files are bound to be huge. Literally blind platforming. Yeah. I think I'm not scanning the walls around me enough. I'm actually wondering if I could end up leaving myself high and dry if I end up, like, not scanning enough, and I need that information later when I'm too far away to do anything. That shouldn't be a thing, but I feel like there's circumstances where it might be. Imagine losing the batteries on this thing. Or worse, the batteries on the headset itself. Unless I really have just been lugging a cable through here this entire time. Wait. There's dots already here. Have we been here before somehow? Or are they just lines that went ahead of me without me realizing it? These LIDAR scanners that we're finding, are we to literally assume that they're here and not just meant to tutorialize us on certain features? Because that could mean that others came through here. Wait. Hang on. We saw a shadow, like it said, things that it picked up earlier as a person falling down the canyon. What if it's not something ours picked up earlier, but that one of the ones we found picked up earlier? And that person we saw falling is the previous owner of one of the ones that we picked up. What if we're seeing interference from their data? This part of the cavern we haven't been in yet. But so far, that loosely looks like a staircase with pillars on either side. Time for another burst scan. Now, the position we're standing in matters as well. That's maybe not going to be doable. Can get down there. I think it wants me to jump. This is angled. That was a risky jump even if we could see. At a certain point, it almost makes it more difficult. That is definitively a human-made structure. Look at this! Look over here. I don't want to accidentally fall down. Is that a carved image, or... It almost looks like a skeleton entombed, but more likely is carving. You know what they say, God doesn't build in straight lines. This is an incredible find. Which is why you would think at a certain point, this would be enough to go back and secure funding for less haphazard expeditions. Look, you're already rich and famous at this point. The temple must have been over 1,000 years old. I knew they existed. I'd searched for the cultists all my life. There's a cult? But to finally see it in person, to be the first. This actually looks more like a tree, with branches extending outward. Are there plants growing down here? Roots, maybe? It doesn't seem like we could be that close to the surface. Let's do a burst scan. See, it projects a grid, but it doesn't necessarily fill that grid. I really appreciate a game that allows you to have a sense of wonder about what you're seeing. So many adventure games have that lost. You discover ancient ruins and it's just another day because it's a video game, but this... It's making me work for it, and I really feel like I'm uncovering something. You know, for my character to not have a reaction to the first humanoid figure we saw, it was standing in a circle with pillars around it. So to not have a reaction, I wonder if maybe we're meant to imagine that that's actually the LIDAR gun itself being calibrated in some kind of controlled setting? What are you? Some kind of antlered god, I suppose. How do we know that these people aren't still down here? Is that, instead of branches, are those maybe what we were seeing back there? The ruins of an even bigger statue? I'm actually having a hard time working out the geometry of what's in front of me. No, this seems definitely like roots. this is much less controlled. The statue is almost immaculately carved. It's becoming so difficult to see. And actually, it is possible to do this wrong and make it harder for yourself. Another one. Their arms outstretched, almost like they're welcoming me. Or maybe trying to warn me off? Every time I hear the burst scan recharge, I'm worried it's like some kind of low battery indicator. This looks like maybe a fallen statue. I think we're getting close to wherever this leads. Come on. I keep getting stuck on the environment. One of these days, that's going to fling me off. This was where they performed the sacrifices. Wait, what is that? The more I scanned around the altar, the more it revealed. What is that? It looks almost humanoid, but... yeah. It's almost like there's carvings within these cracks in the walls. I mean, maybe I'm interpreting that the wrong way. We need another burst scan. So they would surround sacrifices with these symbols. Sacrifice them how and for what reason? Benches? Oh, this would be done with an audience. But there's a bit of a pit surrounding all this. Hang on, let's explore the sides a little bit more. No, it seems like it's all just seating. Imagine this. I wonder, were the sacrifices willing or not? I almost feel like this is a job that should probably be done by a drone of some sort, sending this data back. It's almost starting to remind me of that old footage of those submersibles discovering the wreck of the Titanic. Cluttered images make it so difficult to see, even as I'm revealing more. But wait, it looks like there's another one of those devices over there. Oops. And the ground becomes very rough and uneven here. More glitches. What are these? What were those? That was like something was there and moved away. There was a strange howling coming from the cave below. We get a map view. A sound rising up from the depths below. Oh. Look at this, we can move around in 3D space, see everything we've already been through. Putting into perspective just how far we've come, we can see there where we discovered aperture control. There where we began our journey. But we can only zoom in and out so much. So it seems like we've come through here. I thought we'd been moving down, but my sense of direction has actually been completely wrong. We've been moving higher and higher up this entire time. It also seems to mark landmarks, and we can see the cultist temple, and up here, prisons? Well, it seems then that we have our answer. What we need to do is move up. Wait. If that's the chasm, then I think the image that we saw of the person falling down, they were thrown from up here. Possibly another form of sacrifice? That's the kind of thing that makes me want to turn around and do a scan to make sure nothing's approaching me. Is that what we were seeing? I always wonder how many people they threw over the edge. If this is the first we're seeing of this, then how do you know so much about them? Okay, well, it's clear then. We have to start making our way upwards. I do not recall seeing this bridge before, but perhaps I just didn't look up to see it. There's a path through here. The cultists believed the cave itself was malevolent, that the dead could never escape. Well, we'll want to get out of here alive then, won't we? Their victims were doomed to relive their final tortured hours to get forever. No wonder people went mad down here, yes. These are bars. Presumably where people would be prepared for their sacrifice. So, wait a minute, so what we're seeing, they're not echoes of people who already logged data by coming down here with LIDAR scanners. We could actually be seeing ghosts with this. This has just taken on a whole new dimension of creepiness. These symbols strung up through here as well. I can't even tell if we're still in a cell or if we're moving down a hall now. But we're seeing all kinds of structures. Looks like more benches and stools. I think we are still in cells. Imagine being brought this deep underground by torchlight, knowing what was going to happen to you. The fact that there are prisons here suggests that these were not willing sacrifices. They're enemies or just poor luck of the draw. I am not reassured by this at all. Oh, look. It actually cast more densely packed LIDAR scans through the openings in the bars. Just navigating an absolute maze of cells. It seems like sections may have collapsed as well, leaving rocks falling through the bars, destroying things and turning this into even more of a maze than it already was. I feel like I'm getting very turned around. Yeah, I've definitely lost my way. If we have a look at the map, can that help us navigate this? It seems like we have more or less made our way to the end of the chamber. What's behind us may be all that's left. I can't tell... Or wait, we can tell which way we're facing, so it's on our left. Yeah, here we are. Okay, that map is actually very, very useful for when things get a little cluttered. Did I just hear the squeak of metal? Oh, this leads up and around. This looks like some kind of viewing area to look down onto the sacrificial chamber. Yeah. Another bridge, a catwalk running across the room. I don't know where it could be leading me now. But we seemingly are getting higher and higher up. One of these days, we have to come up to the surface, right? I guess we're meant to assume that my character rappelled down to the location of the tent. What is that? Is that just rock, or is there some kind of collapsed construction there? Those do actually look like roots, and if we're not as far from the surface as we think, perhaps that's exactly what it is? That's actually the one piece of good news we've received this entire time. The cultists slept and ate here. We've actually found living quarters. Like the monks who came after, they spent their time in silent prayer to an unanswering God. So, they weren't the last ones to inhabit this place. Can't go that way. I feel like I'm not making the best use of this LIDAR gun. Like, I always feel like I'm using the wrong aperture for a given thing. But if these are tree roots, then we must be very close to the surface, right? I mean, mustn't we? But there's another level above here. Let's use the burst scan. Tables all overturned. Is this just natural decay happening with time, or did something happen here? And what is this? Something long running across the entire chamber. Perhaps a dining table or some kind of workbench? There are stools and benches lined in front of it. And more roots crisscrossing the chamber. Alright, how do we get out of here? I do not want to get stuck amongst the roots. Right here. When in doubt, look for construction like this. It'll show you the way to go. That's the great thing about horror like this. It's giving us a new means of perceiving that we don't understand as intuitively as something like sight or sound. And sound itself is an incomplete form of perception. So we're using basically an alternative sight which we're wrestling with. It's almost like experiencing the world as a newborn baby. And if there's anything here, it's going to be like trying to fight as a newborn baby. We just don't have the coordination. More living quarters. There's a cave through here, which probably is the way out of here. But let's look around a little more first. No, it seems like it's mostly more of the same. No, wait, there is a door here. But we've already come through here. Okay. How had I not scanned this already? Well, back to the cave, I suppose. Where was it, though? I think it's through here. If we check the map, can we see? Yeah, it looks like we pretty much mapped that out. Cultist Monastery. Yet we are definitively rising, getting higher and higher as we go. This has to end in the surface. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Can't climb up there. This is such an excellent idea for a game. It's not the kind of thing that can really become a genre, though. I mean, I can think of a lot of applications, and Gary's mod is one of the better ones, since you can literally apply this to any map you want. However, I think it's not really genre potential, it's kind of a one-and-done deal. Oh, great, another wide-open cavern. Oh, look at that. So many stalagmites or tights, as the case may be. Oh, listen to that. At first I thought it was just me kicking rocks over a ledge, but I think it's actually dripping water in here. But we can't perceive it because we can't perceive real-time movement. Although I'm sure my character would certainly be feeling it. We lack that sense, given the medium of gaming. Oh, look. Because of the way the distance works, it's almost like there's a rainbow bridge forming in front of us as we walk. And let's do another burst scan. This place is huge, and I want to get as clear of an image as I can. I think if we fell, we might not necessarily die. Oh, look, it's like looking at pictures of bioluminescence on the bottom of the ocean. While these rock formations hanging downward are more like the Matrix titles. I think for now it's in our best interest to just stay on the path. Call me the Little Red Riding Hood. Although I am in considerably more danger than just a wolf. Maybe this is water. Yes, look, it actually carries. but we have no way of determining just how deep it actually is. The water pools at the bottom of the chamber, and we can't really advance into it naturally because, well, the software recognizes that these observations are incomplete and constantly changing. A wide cavern with a low ceiling. Be wary, no. This is all underwater. We can advance. Oh, but our LIDAR software doesn't work, or rather our hardware doesn't work if we advance too deeply into it. So we can't move any farther. Perhaps we can get some glimpse at the other side? Yeah, that's what we've got to do. That was scary. So, when there's water, we'll actually essentially be flying blind. Except for what we can scan beforehand that's solid. There's another percussive sound from the deep. We've heard it several times before, and I'm becoming very curious as to what it actually is. Great, more water. What is that? Some kind of cage? What would that be for? Unless they actually held people here, up to their knees in water, having it drip onto their heads from above? And for that matter, how do I know when I'm saving? I'm very likely going to upload this all as one single long play, but I'm not likely to complete it in one sitting. At least I don't think so. Okay. It seems like this is all combined to one edge, and so what we should be doing is moving along over here. The witch trials came much later. They used to drag witches down here and purge them in huge numbers. Evil throughout the ages. There's no doubt they believed in the myths. It was no accident that they chose this cave. This place has a lot of history and none of it good. They wanted to imprison the evil down here as an eternal punishment. So the legend has it, going as far back as this cult, that if you die down here, you're trapped forever. Then there were monks, but even after them, we didn't really learn about them too much, but after that, witches were actually killed down here so that their souls could never leave. The group and ideology changes, but the legend stays the same. Which makes me wonder how ancient cultures came to this belief. I accidentally moved in too deep. I wasn't paying attention. And man, this thing produces some really horrific audio bugs when submerged in water. That's all water. But that's dry land over there. So we have to make our way to that. No, no. It only happens when I step into the water. So either it's some kind of bug as a result of the hardware freaking out, or something doesn't like me stepping in its stagnant water. Where can we go from here? Unfortunately, step in that water is what we have to do. We're so slow, we're so slow, we're so slow. Ultimately, what this is a game about vulnerability. Vulnerability in being out of our element. Vulnerability in not having the use of our senses. And now vulnerability in not being able to run from whatever's down here, knowing how helpless we are. But it seems like we've successfully navigated around this place. Into the caves once more. And hopefully we can trust this to have solid ground for most of its distance. I did wonder if it was true, of course. No way, these were just glitches. I don't like you saying that after what we just heard. That much death occurring in such a confined space. What horrors must they have seen in their final moments? Well, I think we've seen some of their final moments, and this LIDAR gun is presumably serving a dual purpose of confirming those legends. We're actually seeing their final moments being relived over and over. Oh, this is such a huge space. Alright, more of these witch cages in the water. If we have a look with our map... Wow. This place is humongous. But apparently the farthest most dots have discovered some kind of exit to this underground lake. And unfortunately, we haven't gained any altitude in quite a while. Alright, let's continue to persist. If I were to leave now, how do I know what our last checkpoint was? I haven't noticed any kind of icon indicating it. Alright, well, let's move forward. Every once in a while, I'll think that I see some unique shape in the darkness. And it could be nothing. It could even just be... There's something over there. It could even just be the way I've painted dots on a surface. But it's very eerie nonetheless. So much of that is water. I could try jumping to that, but I don't think that's the right call. Whatever we've got to do it from here, right? I just can't think of what else to try. No! No. 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 How do I get out of here? No! No! We can't stay here. We can't stay in the water, and now we know why. Now, where is this? Okay, it's right here at this entrance. Alright, I'm gonna make my way to the lake exit, and then I'm gonna call it. Because I need to eat something. I am shaking. But we know, of course, we're not making that jump. We've got to get over there somehow. But that water extends just so impossibly far. We can't make that jump. We can't. There's got to be something else out there. So even with this picture, I just don't know where to go. Maybe that? Maybe I'm meant to make my way to that little outcrop right there? I don't like it, but I have to try. No, it's too high up. I can't climb onto there. No! We just made it. We only just made it. And there was something there just now. Okay, forget cultists. Forget even the belief in what happens after you die here. There's something else inhabiting this place. Once again, we're stranded. Even more stranded than before. I can't make it back. It's really gonna make me do this? We're really going to have to strategize. Now, if we look at the map, it's not all that helpful. Then again, that actually is solid ground. Hang on. I thought that was water at first, but no. Oh! Okay, it's all solid ground. Good to know. Literally thought I was falling off into the blackness. Well, I can't see it, but technically it's all blackness. These are some interesting rock formations as well. I mean, look at how smooth they are. The way they jut out in sheets. More cages hanging from the ceilings. I would hate to be tried as a witch. Okay. So how close are we to that lake exit? Still quite a long way to go, but we're on the right path. I mean, I guess it's just like archaeology in that way. Persistence is key. No matter how sure I am that there's something beneath me, I will never like dropping down like that. Wow. And right there, we quick save. Just how many people were sentenced to this fate. We're very close to the next piece of the puzzle, and I can't quit here. I had intended to, but I just can't. I have to know what's over there. But the deeper we go and the more we find, the more I'm realizing that this was much bigger than it at first seemed like. Okay, what's the closest thing? That looks like land right there. Alright, we have to go for that. Move, 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 move! I don't see our friend. Just one narrow path and a sea of death. Almost a literal sea of death think that this whole lake exists just underground. And that ancient humans, people with an experience so far removed from my own, had their whole lives down here. Well, presumably not their whole lives, just kind of the end part. We need to make our way up here. That's where the path goes. Time for another burst scan. See, that's the amazing thing about exploring. Thinking about the people and the mindsets that must have traversed these same paths thousands of years ago. The events that must have taken place here. The shared experience, the connection with people in the past. I wonder if anyone else has ever felt as lost as I do. Sensor upgrade, the scanner resolution has been increased. Oh. So from this, we gain actually a clearer picture now. Awesome. It's a good thing this place must have once functioned as ye olde Best Buy. Okay, that is much better. And we're able to paint much faster. Will the burst scan be affected? It seems like it is. Okay, I have now noticed the save icon since I said that I hadn't, so once we hit it the next time, I'm gonna call it for this session. Something just moved down there. Did you hear that? And there's the save icon, and that means I am saved by the bell. But you're not, because this is a long play, and you're in it for the long haul. Oh, it's crazy seeing these impressions combined with the sounds. How it paints such a vivid image. Oh, our path is narrowing considerably here, and we're gonna have to do some more platforming if we're to see the end of this lake. And I can hear you moving around down there. But I can't seem to spot you in motion. Okay, well, there is no sprint. Keep that in mind. And I'll have to scan over there. Oh, no, this is... I have a really bad idea right now. I think I'm supposed to miss this jump and make a mad dash for the shore over there. Oh, this higher resolution scanner is certainly coming in handy. Yep, just made it. Oh. I just had another terrible thought. What if this thing is falling away beneath me? I'm thinking that if it did, my impression of that would be not even of seeing something fall away, but just falling through what I've already scanned. But until that thing evolves and decides to grow some legs, or at least land-capable legs, I think we're okay so far. Man, I've been so worried about avoiding it, I haven't even thought about what it could actually be. From the brief glimpses we've got, it seems to be humanoid. And from what it did to us, it's certainly no artifact. What could have survived down here for all this time? I am absolutely fascinated with several aspects of this game. The fate of the civilizations that live down here, multiple apparently. The nature of what's down here now. And where it's all going. I hope puddles of water don't count. This seems to be more of a regular cave system with a little bit of water flowing along the side. I always get startled by the burst scan refilling. Makes me think I'm either... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, you can't make me! That can't be the only way to go! This thing is... How many thousands of years old would this boat be? And while I'm holding the oar, will I even be able to scan the sides? I'll be blinder than blind. No, no, no. No, no, no. Oh, it seems to be physics-based. I just move forward by pressing W. I can still hold the scanner. Can slowly turn with WASD. Oh. It's gonna be like the boat ride from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory all over again. And there's a definitive rumble coming out. I'm not sure if what I'm seeing right now is me scanning the bottom of this underground river, or if it's not just being reflected from the surface, which shouldn't be a thing, should it? No, I think that's all... Wait, let's do some science here. No, it's reflection. That shouldn't be a thing. Maybe it's unavoidable. Maybe it's more of an engine thing. But I'm pretty sure we should be on a sea of black, should we not? If the LIDAR scanner didn't just penetrate the water entirely. But of course we need for the game mechanics to know where those are. Wait. It's not able to scan the far wall. Or at least that's what I think is happening. Are these walls meant to be so wet that the things they scan just fall right off? Oh, look. That really does look like a starry night sky. Watching it flake away? Incredible how this game was able to go from such fear to such beauty in such short order. I'm really glad it's not losing that sense of wonder. Especially given my character, who, no doubt undeterred by the things we've been through, is still very much in it for the prize of uncovering these old secrets. This really is a way of showing the player something that they've never seen before. This is what I feel like video games and movies should always strive to be. But this area seems to hold its shape much better. Those aren't even LIDAR dots. Those look like some kind of glowing rocks. They don't actually respond to the scanner itself, and they don't need the scanner to be seen. It really is like a night sky hidden underground. Getting in this boat seemed like such a bad idea. I guess this is why sometimes you should silence that voice. I seem to be running into some weird performance issues. It's like my view is so stuttery. I'm seeing glitches on this thing. Wait, it's almost like it thinks I plugged in a controller. That doesn't make any sense. Alright, that was weird. I didn't have a controller connected, but I just unplugged any devices that were connected that I'm not currently using, and it seems like it worked. Just whatever was in my USB hub, which was really just a card reader with no card in it. Well, let's continue through the tunnel. I almost feel like I'm ruining it by trying to paint anything on the ceiling. But now more visibility is going to be better. The moment of wonder has passed. And as we crawl through this amazing Technicolor river without light, I think the horror is going to be just around the corner very soon. No, it seems like it opens up once more. Perhaps this will be a space for another burst scan? This is a huge chamber. I'm very off-put by that rumble we just heard. I guess we could get off on the side here, but I don't see anywhere to go from there. Wait, that may be a cave entrance right there. I say that as if this whole thing isn't a cave. Seems like that's it. And we can jump to get out. Let's just paint this whole boat in case we want to turn tail and head back later. As if that would do me any good. Whatever's down here does a lot better in the water than I do. Oh, another device. But I'm running into some kind of issues here. But why? You looked like you were holding up some kind of weapon, like an axe. Wait! No, you were really there! Look! It painted you on the opposite wall! There was really something in front of me just now, only for a second. You were blocking the beams. You better be able to tell me something about this. Material scanner, press tab to switch sensor mode. Get a better idea of this geometry first. Oh. Oh, now it does work more like the Gary's Mod LIDAR scanner. So many have died down here. I hope I'm not missing dialogue. I feel like it's really, really easy to do so. The miners that came for work, they were just as superstitious. They were terrified of this place. All those that lost their lives to negligence, are they trapped down here too? I wonder just how late these miners came in. Are we talking like 1800s or like 1200s? I don't know if mines this deep existed at that point. I suppose it does sort of make sense, though, that as we climb farther and farther up, parts of this have collapsed. I guess it makes sense as we climb farther and farther up that we essentially start unwrapping the layers of history. What are you guys? More scanners? Wait, it's time for a burst scan. This place is huge. This whole place is crumbling. We can't get up onto this bridge. We'll have to continue traversing this ravine. It's weird. The more I walk, the more I feel like a sense of momentum from this place. Oh. This collapsed with people on it. Once more, raising the question, are these truly just artifacts, or are we actually, in one way or another, capturing ghosts on this software? I suppose there could be data from this place, considering those devices up on the cliff there. But then again, certain other things suggest that there's more going on here. Sorry if I'm being a little bit redundant. I am in the middle of a second session this time. But I'm going to try to go for a little longer this time. I've heard that this game takes about 5 hours to complete. I'm going to try to get about 60% of the way through that in this session. Let's see how far we can cast this, how high up it goes. At a certain point, it doesn't matter how much we're able to focus. The point is, it's quite high. What are you? Can we climb up on top of this? Being able to get on top of these scaffoldings and catwalks would certainly be a big help here. Travel where others have traveled. That's the way to safely move in a place like this. What is this? Oh, well, that must be a chunk of rock that's fallen down on top of this thing. Without being able to see it myself, we have only these impressions, no way of knowing how old this setup actually looks. I mean, it's falling apart, but man, that many people falling, that's a big accident. If it indeed was an accident, and could certainly lead to the closure of a place like this, right? There's some kind of walkway along the side of this cliff face. Doesn't seem like that's water down below. There was another way I could have gone further back, I recognize that. Before I try and continue along this way then, since this does seem to be the path that climbs further up, let's go see what's the other way. This seems like a collapsed section of tunnel. It's like whatever is there is just rejecting the scan. Is it meant to imply that there are still bodies on the ground here? Yeah, it's completely collapsed from this point forward. This wasn't just one bridge breaking. Some disaster happened, maybe an earthquake or something like that, that caused this whole thing to collapse on itself. We've made our way around to you, huh? Here, I'll help. What are you trying to show me? Well, you showed me that bridge up there, but not much else. I feel like you could have gotten me a much higher resolution picture of this entire cavern. I hope we don't have to try and make this jump. Doesn't seem like we do. Alright, where do I go then? Maybe figure out some way up onto there. But this ain't gonna be the way to do it. Ah, right here. Okay, so let's get an idea for what these materials mean. So that orange-brown is wood. White is maybe metal? While blue could be carved stone. Well... this is where a flashlight would come in handy. I would really like to know, does it matter that all of this is in my memory? Buddy, I think the reverse altitude might be getting to you. Does it make it any less real? What do you mean by all of this is in your memory? I was there. I was the first. I really hope you're not starting some kind of past life delusion. Then again, it does seem like all your life you've been kind of drawn here. Drawn here metaphorically, not the fact that you're literally drawing here right now. Now's not the time for this. Have to succeed where others failed! That was legitimately... I didn't think I was going to make it. It looked like I didn't make it at first. That's a man with a pickaxe slung over his shoulder. And those look to be more modern-ish helmets? My LIDAR scans them as if they're actually here. Wait. That looks like some kind of plaque. I mean, it could be a light, but with this fence here, these almost look like displays that have been set up. Is this like some kind of mining museum? I think these might be like wax figures or something. Maybe even like a tourism part of the cave? Hang on, let's check the map. We haven't looked at it in a while. So over there is the cave exit. I mean the lake exit. Yet we have gained altitude continuously. We've also come quite a long distance, although not quite as far as it seems like. Wow, being able to trace our path through all this is something else. Alright, but this is too slow. We've got to continue advancing. Something like this would surely mean that we're getting close to the surface, right? Alright, I think the way to take this now is to move forward more slowly but with a wider beam. I think that'll be the way to do this. By the way, I'm really glad that it didn't just tell me this is some kind of museum or touristy area. I was startled by one of these things far more than a mannequin in a flashlight's beam. And even now, I still don't 100% know that's the case. It's just kind of... It's really just kind of intuiting that based on what this sort of vaguely reminds me of. We can hop this railing too. Now, if this were to be some kind of museum, these stairs would have to lead to the top, right? I mean, besides just being how stairs work. Unfortunately, it's far less reliable that an elevator in a place like this would work. I remember coming down like it was yesterday. Hoping I'd find something below. Hoping it wouldn't be another empty cave. I just wish I'd been better prepared. Are you talking about in the past, or are you talking about this expedition? Because this being this expedition doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, we could follow this path right here, but it looks like there's also a secondary cave off to the side. Perhaps that's our way around this metal gate. Do we have to restore power? Oh, this looks like it branches off in a few directions. No, it goes even deeper still. But I am picking up on that, what I believe to be carved stone. This makes it just a little bit easier to see, in my opinion, when it's more of an undefined space. Material mode when you have it mapped, regular mode when you don't. I need to get up there somehow. Ah, right here. The path is actually shown for me. You can probably make that jump right there. Or this one. Yep. Here we are. We're making our way through, slowly but surely. Oh, look, we actually scanned pretty far up the shaft itself. Yep. Ugh. Almost didn't make that one. But we're getting close back around to where we need to be. Yeah, I think we've, with this, made it to the other side of the fence, yeah. Does this mean we've restored power? I mean, I have to say, it is refreshing, and it does feel safer being back onto some semblance of modernity. But unfortunately, according to that thing, we're only partway through to fully restoring the elevator. Still don't understand what these gaps are that we can't seem to scan. This end is caved in, meaning that even if this was a museum at some point, it's probably not been in operation for quite some time. There's another one of those things. Some kind of power box, probably, but it doesn't look like it's one that we need to interact with. That's so creepy, looking over. And because we can see through areas we haven't painted yet, it's almost like those wax figures are acting as ghosts, in addition to the ones we've already seen. Now, I really like the idea of using the term ghost to describe anything you can't explain. I still call them ghosts, whether they're actual souls that have been trapped here, wax figures, or just fragments of data within my own LIDAR system. They appear to me as ghosts nonetheless. Oh, this area is very complicated and very, very claustrophobic. Actually, being able to see through walls kind of helps alleviate the claustrophobic elements. But we can use the cable running along the ceiling to help guide us, I bet. That looks like some kind of wood beam helping to support this place. Oh, that only goes so far. Perhaps this mode would be better for this. Yes, there's that box. Now would be a real bad time for things to start glitching out, and to hear that scream and the rapid footsteps approaching us. I always get nervous whenever I drop down and I see that little save icon. More stairs. I hope that doesn't attract any unwanted attention. Can we take this path back? Something's rumbling from down here. I really hope that's the sound of the elevator coming to meet me. No, just the motor roaring to life. Yeah, look, 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 look. Alright, let's see where this takes us. Oh, it's so loud. But somewhat annoyingly, we can't look directly up. Rising up and up out of the dark. There. Color me shocked, an elevator made it to its destination in a video game. Off, 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 let me off. That was a risky move and a day full of risky moves, wasn't it? More of you. How many times do I have to relive this? Hatching a theory. Always the same rock, the same metal, the same stale air. And the guilt. I just want to see my family again. Am I perhaps one of those lost souls? I'm starting to think, based on the way you're describing these things, that I never made it back from my expedition. I'm forced to wander these halls for eternity. And is that guilt from leaving my family alone, or did I somehow drag them into this? I also don't like the amount of loading that's happening right now. It looks like we're entering into another one of those glowing caverns, but if we press M... No, the rest of the game is still visible to us. We've just got to move forward and... wait. No, it's the surface! We actually made it! No way! I don't know how I died yet. Of all the memories I'm forced to relive, it's the one thing I don't remember. But it breaks my heart knowing that I left my family behind. They're always here for me. Oh. I suppose they come to visit this spot in remembrance? They know I'm never coming back. Oh, look! And from this point of view, from where they're standing, we can see through the water everywhere that we've been. The path I took that they'll never get to see. It's all right here in front of them and they don't even know it. In the end, we actually get to see the culmination of our efforts. if anyone were to find our scanner, they'd be able to see all we went through. And I'm now realizing we've been playing in reverse. That's why this didn't make sense. That's why we were moving up this entire time. We weren't beginning our expedition, we were starting from our final resting place. Wait. There's more? All my progress lifting away. And I guess as many times before, the cycle begins once again. As it will forever. I really was not expecting that ending from this game. So that was Scanner Sombre. And that was an incredible game. The way it manages to capture that ambition, that wonder that the character feels in exploring this place. And yet, it also it allows it to work in two layers. The layer of you playing as your character, and you experiencing this for the first time as yourself, as the player. I mean, it basically guarantees that you're going to have a lot of questions, starting you off at what you think is the middle, but by the end, you realize it all makes sense, that you're working backwards from the end. I'm just having a hard time organizing my thoughts on this, because it's not like it was a complicated game, but it was a very deep game. No pun intended. I don't know why, for some reason I've always just had a really hard time giving my thoughts during credits. I think it's because there's pressure to, keep talking and not really take a second to think. And I really needed a second to think, especially after being blindsided by that ending. I mean, I sort of predicted it like moments before it was actually revealed. But that ending is also a perfect example of how this game manages to use its themes so well, giving you this sense of wonder while never having it be lost on the player just how sort of hopeless a situation you're in. Being this deep, being this buried in history, feeling like the first to get this far, which it seems like you truly are. It's like, as you go further back, the game almost works in reverse to archaeology. The farther back you go, the more modern it becomes. And it should be the opposite way, and that's because it is the opposite way. You really were the one who was able to get the farthest. And it's like, your character regrets leaving his family behind. This was not worth it. But at the same time is probably proud at having made it so far, farther than anyone else. I mean, in the end, I guess that's what this game is really about, is ambition and the price of ambition. And you know, that does sort of leave the question of what was that thing in the water? Maybe some kind of being that is actually responsible for keeping souls here. I love how this game had you on this constant roller coaster of this dread and fear of never being able to get out, of not knowing what's down here with you, while at the same time, the excitement of constantly discovering something new and being in awe of the beauty of what you're seeing. And it was able to go between these things so seamlessly that I feel like it must emulate the experience of this character's final journey through here. Constantly feeling like, should I turn back? Is this worth it? And then seeing something that's just motivating enough to keep you going. I love this game. It handles its themes so well. And it's so short that it doesn't overstay its welcome. I thought that 5 hours would have been a little bit long, and I believe at this point I probably finished it in under 3. And I think that's really the perfect length for it. I'm just having such a hard time summarizing my thoughts. I mean, the length of the credits and the time it takes the camera to pass here, that's how many times I've started talking and then scrapped it like throwing balls of notepaper into the garbage. But this game is leaving me with a lot of thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours. But if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.